One of my favorite movies is from Robert De Niro and Al Pacino called Heat. And in that movie, Robert De Niro is a bank robber and they're going around committing, just robberies of banks and big money. And they go on one last big heist. Just one more. And unfortunately, their plans went up in smoke. Well, that's what's happening right now with these false teachers and preachers and everyone that's out here teaching false messages. It's going up in smoke. So let's talk about it. My name is Maurice Braxton, Evangelism for God. Welcome, the channel that talks about issues the church run away from and expose Satan and his devices. And, it's getting pretty interesting. I see a small amount, but I see people that are starting to slowly wake up. So let's continue to pray because they realize that they've been defrauded. They realize that the person that they've been following, that they've changed so many dates that they continue to just, come up with some other new excuse. And now they're starting to finally question it. Like, I don't believe you no more. I'm going to stop following you. You're a false. They've actually turning. And how? And there's so many indications. That's why the false prophets' plans are going up in smoke. And I thought when I saw the Trump rally the other day, where he was in Alabama, I believe, and he's telling people, get the vaccine, and he got booed from the people and all of that. And that's one of the factors that's sitting there causing these people to realize, like, wait a minute, maybe this guy is not Christ for the ones that's elevated him to that level. Maybe this guy is not the godlike figure that we think that is supposed to be anointed for this special time. So now the followers are starting to question this. And then you see everything falling apart with all of the shams that the false prophets have laid out there, the audits and all of these things, everything is going up in smoke. Mike Lindell is pretty much where everyone put all their trust in the pillow talk guy. And here he is. Now he don't want to pay up to $5 million to where he promised $5 million to anyone that can prove to him that the election wasn't, as far as that the election wasn't stolen. If they can prove to him that it wasn't stolen. And he sat up there and brought in all of these cyber experts and all of this stuff during the symposium that he had. And someone trying to claim the money within the group said that he had no evidence. So here we are. And then you have other events that are happening where the false prophets have placed their trust within that particular system or belief or person or whatever, and it's all going up in smoke. And, that's a good thing. It's a good thing because I've been saying it from the get-go, it's a foundation of lies. Satan is, and all of these people that are out here throughout the YouTube sphere, throughout the nation, they are tools of Satan that's being used to push Satan's agenda. That's what they're doing, because Satan's agenda is deception. That's one part of his agenda. Deception and destruction is another part of it, because ultimately he wants to destroy you. If he can destroy your Christian walk, if he can distract your Christian walk, if he can keep you occupied on other things but Christ, he's got you. And all these people that's been following these false teachers, that they're out there, they're focused on so many other things, but they're not focusing on what they're supposed to be focusing on. So Satan's got them exactly where he wants them. So fortunately, there's a small trickle of people that are starting to see. They're giving up basically hope. Well, you keep telling me that it's this month. The false prophets have already set a new date. Now it's September. There's various dates. I'm seeing September the 28th. And we know that that's not going to happen. And then some people are so deceived where they set up and will say, Well, you just don't have enough faith. You got to hold on. Don't doubt God. Nothing's too impossible for God. You know, that's true. Nothing's too impossible for him. He can do what he wants to do. But at the same time, God is a God of truth. Our God is a God of truth. Our God is a God of justice, truth, and he's not going to validate and anoint some type of lie that's been pushed from the beginning. It's just not going to happen like that. So you can sit back and wait, because if that's the case, because in some instances in life, whether we get sick with cancer and come down with some ailment within our body, and we get sick and we just feel like we're crying out to the Lord and don't know why he don't heal us. But that doesn't mean that he's still not all powerful. That doesn't mean it's just not his will. And it was not his will to leave the former president in office. And that's it. It's a done deal. And that should be the end of the conversation. And these other people that we're going to talk about what they're, well, I'll just toss it in this message. But I was just thinking earlier, that's how many of these people that they spend their whole sermons and talking about everything else but the gospel, every politics and people and all of this other stuff, but it's no gospel message. Have you noticed that? There's no type of, I wonder what the Bible studies are like if they have them. Is it actually you're going to learn something from the Bible? Because you're not learning if you follow a lot of these people. You're just hearing them spewing out nonsense, spewing out anger, spewing out politics, spewing out stuff that gets them all fired up, but not the gospel message. That's not of Christ. That's not going to lead no one to Christ. Nobody's going to want anything to do with Christ. But on this channel, we want something to do with Christ. We want to give Christ the glory. We want to punch Satan right in between his chops. That's what we want to do here. We want to expose anybody that's teaching false doctrine, leading people down dark paths. We want to call them out, because people need to be warned, and we'll continue to do that. It's not popular, but I'm not worried about trying to be popular. I'm worried about yelling and shouting and warning people of dangers that are out there. So we got still work to do. Let's continue to pray for those that are slowly starting to open their eyes and trying to maybe possibly come to the light and see the actual truth. That Christ is real. Christ is not a liar. Christ do not put out a prophet does not put out prophecies that don't come to pass. A true prophet will put out prophecies that come to pass. We will continue to trust God's word. Give him the glory here. Evangelism for God. If you're new, consider subscribing and coming along for the journey. Hit like, because we're going to continue to move on. Until the next videos, my friend, take care. God bless.